welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am bringing you guys the next part in my beta reader series. Last time we talked about what questions you should ask your beta readers at the end of each section. So today we are talking all about what questions you should ask your beta readers at the end of the book. Oh, holy shit. They finished it. Now what questions are we going to ask them? But before we get into it, a few things. Number one, like I just said, this is a part 2, so if you haven't seen the first part or the other episodes in the series, they're linked down below. Go check them out. They're awesome. Number 2, the amount of questions that you are going to ask at the end of your book may change. In my opinion, I don't think that they'll change as much as the end of the section questions. They can still definitely change, especially as the cycles go on and you get more feedback. Number 3, these questions are meant to basically be assuming that you're not sending your book all at once, because if you're sending your entire book at once, there's not going to be like end of section questions and end of the book questions. In most cases, it's just going to be questions at the end of the book. So in that case, I've got nothing for you because that's not how I do things. So sorry. And lastly, number 4, these questions are just based off questions that I personally ask my beta readers and questions that I personally don't ask, but I've heard that other people ask their betas, and I think that it could be helpful for some people, even though it's not necessarily helpful for me, if that makes sense. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. Number 1, overall thoughts. So your beta readers should be giving you feedback throughout the entire process. So this is kind of just a chance for them to wrap it all up and just let you know kind of just like generally what they think about the book, and this is usually a great time for them to just like point out like their general criticisms of your work. The second question I ask is, how would you rate this on a scale from 1 to 10, and if you did not rate it a 10, what would have made it a 10 in your eyes? So I asked this question just because it's really good to just kind of get an overview of how they would rate a book, and you can compare your beta readers' ratings just to kind of see where they stand with your book. And again, this is just another chance for people to let you know what you could have done differently in order to make your book better or perfect in their eyes. Number 3, favorite parts. I like asking this question just because it's a good overview to just kind of let me know overall what are the strengths of the book and kind of what are people really loving. Number 4, favorite characters. So ideally your MC should be mentioned here because, well, they're your MC, and if you have multiple MCs, at least one of them, but preferably all of them, should be mentioned. This is a good question to ask just because I think it really helps just figure out what characters are really good and what characters are people gravitating towards and what characters still need some help. Now with that being said, just because a character is someone's favorite does not mean that they are a perfect character, and it does not mean that they do not need some fixing. It just means that it's a favorite character of theirs. Because I've now had, at this point in time, I think 2 betas completely finished my book, and both of them had favorite characters, but they had both already told me like some criticisms of those characters, because just because you like a character does not mean that there's nothing to fix about the character. Number 5, who do you ship and why? So this can be either romantic or platonic, and I ask this just because if your beta reader does not mention like the main ship of the book, that is a huge problem. I'm just saying, especially if this is like, you know, like a romance book. Yeah, problem there. Number 6, would you consider this book to be predictable? I ask this because I have lost track of the amount of times I have read books and I have been able to guess like literally everything that happens, and it's so aggravating. I hate when that happens. So, you know, no one really likes a book that is predictable, but just because one of your betas guesses something and think that your book is predictable, that does not mean that all of your beta readers feel that way. Number 7, would you recommend this book to a friend? I feel like this is an obvious one, but I'll explain it anyways. This is a great question to ask because if a beta reader says, I would not recommend this book to anyone, well, that is feedback in of itself. Plus, word of mouth is essential when marketing and selling a book. But I do think that it is important to note that it's completely fine if a beta reader would not recommend your book to everyone they know. Because guess what? Your book is not for everyone. Most books aren't made for everyone. So that's a fair point. But just, you know, hopefully your beta doesn't say, oh no, I would not recommend this book to anyone, because like I said, problem. Number 8. On a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you to read the sequel, and are you interested in beta reading for the sequel? So this obviously only applies if there is a sequel. I think that it's important just to see how many of your betas would continue on with the series, just because, you know, that's kind of important. And if they do offer to beta read for the next book in the series, that is a huge help on you, because let's be honest, finding beta readers is probably the worst part about this entire process. Number 9, how was your overall experience with being a beta reader, and do you have any suggestions for improvement? I love asking this question just because your beta reader process is probably going to change with each cycle, and I think that it's important to kind of just see how your beta readers liked the process itself, and the question can be really enlightening with what you could do better in the future. So I like asking it, is it like essential? Probably not, but I still think that it's good to ask. Number 10, marketing questions. So I've already mentioned some questions that are marketing questions, but I'm grouping these ones together just because they're kind of in the same realm, so let's go through them really quick. Number 1, are they interested in giving a small review for your book? Number 2, are they interested in joining your street team? Number 3, are they interested in getting an arc or promo material of your book? This is not something that you have to offer because that will obviously cost you money as the author, but it's something that I wanted to offer to my beta readers. Number 4, do they want to be mentioned in the acknowledgement of my book? Obviously that is a personal thing because, you know, you might not have any acknowledgements in your, and you may not want to offer a spot in there for your beta readers, but I like to. And then number 5, what books, movies, or TV shows would they compare your book to? Just because this can be really helpful when you are pitching your book to people. And yeah, so that is my list of 10-ish questions that I ask my beta readers once they get to the end of my book. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button down below and turn on post notifications so that you know every time that I upload. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. So let me know in the comments down below what questions you ask your beta readers once they reach the end of your book. And if you have any questions about beta readers or suggestions for future videos in this series, feel free to let me know. This series is honestly coming to an end pretty soon, which is really like weird because it feels like I just started the series yesterday, but here we are. So yeah, that's all I've got. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!